late. Sammy, hurry up.
Hustle, 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 hustle. Show's gonna start, show's gonna start.
All theater seeks to find humanity in all its forms, the ugliest parts of it, the most beautiful parts of it. This project focuses on two really central themes: the uniqueness of an individual and then all the things that make them belong to a community.
Theater space, that we're entering into, and we have folks here who've never been in a play before, or folks who are being on stage in a professional setting for the first time. Like, theater, as it is typically practiced, can be a very hierarchical space, right? And so, Twee and I will be leading you through this process as your.
What drives me and makes me feel passionate about this process is this opportunity to give people space to tell their own stories. My job is to create that sense of trust, create that sense of space.
We don't know when a space is safe for someone. We don't know what might bring up something that feels unsafe. So, we're trying to make safer spaces to make people feel as safe as we're able to.
As someone who is trans but does not look like it, if I don't make it clear that I am, almost everyone assumes I'm not. So having a place where I can tell people who and what I am before they assume it is much better than just having them assume I'm something I'm not.
Most people see me as most people don't see me. I saw Generations Rise as an opportunity to be seen by the rest of Reston.
Welcome to Reston! Reston is 55 miles of walking trails,
Founders
the smell of kids and sports, and dirt, the town center.
Lake Ann Plaza.
So one of the things that we say in Undesirable Elements, this format, this type of show for Ping Chong Company is called the Undesirable Elements series, is it's all about the power of claiming your story in public.
Generations Rise Reston is part of an ongoing series of community engaged projects by Ping Chong Company called the Undesirable Elements series. That was begun in 1992 by Ping.
I just wanted to hear people's personal stories around questions of belonging and identity and home. What's home? What does home mean to them? And what does it mean to be an outsider, for example?
For each performer, we had between 4 to 10 hours of interviews. Sarah found the thing that makes this individual very special and different. And then she found all, and I hope I did too, found all the things that overlapped that made them all Restonians.
Think about the intention that you're bringing into this reading. Maybe it's an intention of discovery because we're discovering some new material. We're seeing how the scripts change. You're discovering what it feels like to do it for the first time in this physical space as opposed to around the table.
Let's get started.
Let's get started. My name is Sumaya Orfu. I was born September 9th, 1977 in Washington, D.C.
I ask people questions that go from their childhood to their adulthood. By them having to remember and access these questions, they get kind of a bird's eye view of their own lives that normally they don't get.
Since we're telling some of our personal stories, how we respond, how we react, what we feel, what comes up in that's real.
During the pandemic, I slowly realized I've been doing all the things that make everyone else feel good. But I am not okay. And I realized I need to spend time focusing on what I need. What will fill my cup up? I decided to study trauma-informed yoga. I want to be happy.
We're not actors in this. This is our thing. That's a very different experience.
It's a kind of cathartic experience. It's something that's you've suppressed, and you now find yourself faced with it, that your self-protection actually wasn't good for you, that you actually did need to access this trauma or whatever it is.
So, we are going to do an entire run through, just like we did on Tuesday. We're going to bring that energy that we've been working on throughout the run, try and sustain it.
Let's get started.
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 1975. Lima, Peru.
I am born in the poorest of neighborhoods. It is hard. It is dangerous. My biological mother gives me away, and from the age of 6 months, I am raised by my abuela.
Rosa, she was like, it was very sad to hear her story and like what she went through.
I get the opportunity to come to the United States. They told us we will get a green card and a social security number. My friend Cesar tells me,
Rosa, it doesn't work this way.
You can't just show up in America and get a green card.
I don't believe him. I arrive in Washington, D.C. It is freezing, cold, and all. All I have is a sweater. They take me to a shopping center and find a mattress in the dumpster. I am forced to share it with the person who brought me here.
Easy process to do this, but I make the decision to go ahead and share, because I want people to be aware of what's still going on in our neighborhood. Believe it or not, all of this happened here in America in front of everybody.
The next day, we go to get my green card and a social security card. I know they're fake, but now they have my passport.
It is a lie.
It is a scam.
It is a nightmare.
I am forced to work at McDonald's during the day and clean buildings at night. I have no contact with my family. I am not allowed to keep any of my wages. I am trapped.
Great job, everybody. Thank you.
Who's taught me everything I know.
This is the first time they're on stage, right?
First time ever on stage.
That in and of itself is
Yeah.
I think it's important that when we're doing a show about Reston, that it's not only showing all the wonderful things, but that these experiences and traumas are part of everyone's lives. And it's really about what makes you the person that you are and where you find community and healing.
Out, around, in, up, and down. Stomach. In terms of coming up with the movement, there are definitely thematic things that happen in the piece, like all of us had to go through some kind of growth. All of us had to go through some kind of healing process. All of us had great grief at some point. And so it was trying to embody all of the cast, all of the performers' experiences into like 3 motions. I just asked them about their experiences, and then they would gesture. They would just use their arms and legs. And then I'm like, oh, so this was growth for you. And then I would build it into something bigger. So many of them would like touch their chest during healing. They would hold their hands to their heart. So that became part of healing.
This is also part of a healing journey. Like part of this and how I've learned from these things created who I am today. And so like my story, my situations could let someone know like, hey, you're not like by yourself in this.
I am just going to acknowledge that today is Thursday. That means next Thursday, this time next week, we'll be doing our final dress rehearsal. And our performances are next weekend. So practicing self-care and community care is going to be really important over the next week. It is totally normal to start feeling like anxious and worried. Simi, would you like to share how you're feeling?
Excited, a little nervous about it because it's getting closer and closer. And I mean, I definitely feel good about it because I said some family overseas and I sent them the picture and I was like, look what I'm doing!
I never shared the deepness of my story. And I'm still very nervous about sharing it.
Let's get started. Please sit.
Let's get started.
Let's get, okay.
See, that's why I got confused.
So, I'm sorry, it should have been let's get started, Robin. That was my mistake. Let's do it one more time. Robin, when Simi arrives at her seat, have one moment to sort of stand there, so you're all standing there together.
So we're saying that standing.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
gotcha.
Simi says, let's get started, please sit. That was my fault.
So, okay.
So,
I was feeling vulnerable. In fact, that's why I didn't tell a whole lot of people about it. Just, from the beginning, the process of it, I talked a little bit about it, but I didn't invite people.
So everyone gets 2 tickets each night, is that right? So you get 2 free tickets, you have 4 free tickets total, 2 for Friday, 2 for Saturday, but everyone needs a ticket?
Chocolate chip waffles and some potatoes. Did you tell them why you do theater?
Because you called me a drama queen, and you said theater would be perfect for me.
She kept counting down the days to the play, then she was real nervous.
I was very nervous.
But she did great.
And when I was driving to the first play, I was very nervous, and I was making sure you were gonna be there. There was a lot of stuff on my mind. I was like, what if I mess up? Or what if I forget my line? It was nerve-wracking.
I was feeling very calm until 30 minutes before. It felt sort of electrified inside.
I was very nervous. I started, getting those memories back. I began with the shakings and nervousness. But I learned how to overcome that, and I move on.
Pyramids. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go Reston Pyramids!
I am looking forward to that moment when the lights dim. We'll feel the whole of the audience shift, and when that many human beings know that a change is coming, but they don't know what's on the other side of that change, it makes you breathe differently.
Let's do this. Please sit.
Both my daughters are going to be there tonight. It's a whole different shift. I am months away from graduating when I find out I am pregnant. I am not ready to be a parent. It's not so much what they're going to think of me. It's more like, how are they going to feel? Because, they're part of me in a sense, right? I have a plan with a girlfriend to get the hell out of Texas and move to Boston. So I have a safe, legal abortion in Texas. And if I hadn't had that choice and that freedom, I would not be here now.
What this project is for me is to make a space in which people can speak about their lives.
My daughter is at a Christian homeschool co-op. During the national protests after the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others, I wear my t-shirt that says, Black Lives Matter. 2 days later, I get an email from the school.
It has come to our attention that you have worn a shirt with a political statement, and we must remind you that political statements are not allowed.
What is it about this particular statement that offends people so much when my daughter is the only Black student in this school?
You're seeing a microcosm of a community up there. These are different people who are from very different backgrounds, sharing a moment of communion on stage with the audience.
Suddenly, it's 7th grade. We are in person again, and it is hard because there are so many people. We always have to be 6 feet apart, and it is nerve-wracking. I was alone for so long, now I'm in a new school. I tell Miss Lloyd that I'm afraid to talk to people or scared of big crowds. She says,
A lot of kids are going through this right now. It's called social anxiety.
I want people to know a person can be a lot of things without looking like any of them. I look white, I look female, I look like my mental health is fine, but I'm none of those things. I know I'm not the only person like this, so being able to be here and represent myself in my own words feels very, very important.
That's what the whole project's about. To make a space for people to be able to speak about their lives, to make a community recognize the humanity of those on stage as the same humanity they have, and that you are all members of that community, the community of mankind.
I share my story because I want people to know they are not alone. I want you to understand my family,
my challenges,
my community,
so that I can understand
your family,
your challenges,
your community,
so that I can
understand you.
It's really hard to talk about other people and to dislike other people when you see their humanity. It's just impossible not to care about them.
You know, through the stories is what we learn about everybody. There's no difference really and deeper than the skin. So we are immigrants from Ethiopia, and she shared her story well. She really did.
You never know what somebody's going through, or you know how people are treated, and when people start telling their stories, it makes you look at people a lot different.
She's been keeping this side a little hidden, but now that it's out there and more people know, she feels like she has to hide less. I am so proud of her. I'm so proud that the only thing that could make... Actually, there is nothing more that could make me feel more proud than how I feel right now.
We got to hear from many different ages, many different perspectives, and I think that the people on stage really represented Reston.